We were discussing chapter number 2, the biological classification. In this classification, we have seen that the R.H. Whittaker has divided the living organisms into 5 main kingdoms: kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. In the previous session, we have finished with kingdom Monera. That means they includes all the varieties of bacteria. Now today we are going to start with another kingdom, that is kingdom Protista. So let's start with the another kingdom, it is kingdom Protista. So what is a kingdom Protista? Okay, what are the characteristics of kingdom Protista? So if you see this kingdom Protista, then they are unicellular living organisms. What they are? They are unicellular organisms. Means they are just made up of a single cell. The second thing is that they are eukaryotic cells. Here the cell is eukaryotic. In the kingdom Monera, they are prokaryotic. But here the kingdom Protista, they are the eukaryotic cells. Okay? If you look after their habitat means where they are found. They are aquatic in nature. They are aquatic in nature. Clear? That means they are found in the water. In which kind of water they found? That we will see. So here the habitat is aquatic. Okay? Now when we talk about the mode of nutrition, what is the mode of nutrition? Here the mode of nutrition is either autotrophic or heterotrophic in nature. So that means they are autotrophic or they are heterotrophic. Few are the autotrophic and few are the heterotrophic. We will discuss in detail which are they. Okay. Next, here if you see the reproduction, okay, if you see the reproduction, then the reproduction, both kind of the reproduction you can observe over here. Here you can find the asexual reproduction as well as a sexual reproduction. Both kind of a reproduction you can find. As you know that they are the eukaryotic cells. You know the characteristic of a eukaryotic cells. That means they have a membrane bound nucleus. This is one of the characteristics. That means their nucleus is surrounded by a membrane. They have a nucleus which is surrounded by a membrane. This is called as a membrane. They have a membrane bound nucleus. Okay. So this is present into a kingdom Protista. And if you see this kingdom Protista, it is a link between the Monera and the other kingdom or the animal species. So it's a link, it is a link between kingdom Monera and fungi and Animalia. So these are the characteristics of the kingdom Protista. These are the usual general characteristics you can find in the Protista. I again repeat, you have to form a sentences. So what is the kingdom Protista? The living organisms of kingdom Protista are unicellular. They are eukaryotic in nature. They live in an aquatic habitat. Okay? The mode of nutrition in the Protista is either autotrophic or heterotrophic. The mode of reproduction in the Protista is asexual mode or the sexual mode. Okay. Here, as they are the eukaryotic cells, they have a membrane bound nucleus and they also have a membrane bound organelles. Okay. And this is a kingdom which is a link between the kingdom Monera and the other kingdom like fungi, Plantae and the Animalia. Okay. So actually it is serving as a link. So these are the usual general characteristics of a kingdom Protista. Now this kingdom Protista is further subdivided. Okay, so let's see what are the division of this kingdom Protista, and we will learn each one in detail. So let's discuss what are the characteristics of kingdom Protista, what are the subdivision of kingdom Protista. So if you see the kingdom Protista, there are lots of different types of living organisms. They are included under the kingdom Protista. Okay, so which kind of the category they are included? Okay. Because here lots of variety you can see in this kingdom, that is a Protista. But for easiness, we have divided into a different categories. The first category, it includes chrysophytes. This chrysophytes that includes a kingdom Protista. The second category, you can call it as dinoflagellates. Okay, it is a dinoflagellates. The third category you can find in A is a euglenoids. This is the third category. The fourth type of this kingdom Protista you can find is a slime mold. And the fifth category you can find is a protozoa. Okay, for easiness, this kingdom Protista, they are divided into five types. Which are they? Chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime mold, and the protozoa. These are the five different types of categories which are included under the kingdom Protista. Okay. Now this protozoa, the kingdom protozoa, or the subtype of a Protista, that is again divided into four types. That's again divided into how many types? Four types. Okay. So which are they? The first one is called as amoeboid protozoa. Amoeboid protozoa. The second one is, it's called as flagellated protozoa. Flagellated protozoa. The third type, it's called as ciliated protozoa. Ciliated protozoa. And the last category, you can call it as sporozoa. Okay, it is a sporozoa. So this protozoa again divided into four categories based on their characteristics, like amoeboid protozoa, flagellated protozoa, ciliated protozoa, and the sporozoa. So this is a classification of kingdom Protista, the second kingdom according to R.H. Whitaker. Okay, so I can repeat that kingdom Protista divides into chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime mold, protozoa. Okay, and this protozoa again divided into sub four categories. We have to discuss each one in detail. So let's first start with the first category of a kingdom Protista, and they are called as chrysophytes. So we discussed that category. What are the chrysophytes? Let's discuss. So here we discuss the characteristic of chrysophytes. Okay. What are the characteristics of the chrysophytes? If you see the chrysophytes, then the chrysophytes includes the main two examples. Okay. The first one, it's called as a golden algae. You can also call it as desmids. Desmids. And the second category, you can call it as diatoms. Okay, the second category is a diatom. Okay, so these are the two examples. These are the two examples of a chrysophytes: golden algae and the diatoms. You have to remember these two examples. Golden algae is given a name golden because its appearance is a golden. So that's why they are called. It's a golden algae. Okay. Now, if you see their habitat, means where they are living. They are aquatic, and in aquatic it can found in both kind of a water. You know the basic characteristic of a Protista. Protista, they are aquatic in nature, means can be found in a water. But in which kind of water they found, that we have to write. So here the habitat is, it's a marine, or it may be a fresh water. It may be a fresh water. In both variety or both kind of a water, you can find these chrysophytes. Okay, so few of them are marine and they can also live into a fresh water. Okay, if you see that mode of nutrition, what is the mode of nutrition in this? Okay, here the mode of nutrition, it is they are photosynthetic in nature. They are photosynthetic in nature. Okay, they are autotrophic. Okay, I am specifying that they are autotrophic, means they can prepare their own food. Okay, they prepare their food by themselves. This is the mode of nutrition you can find in chrysophytes. Now, if you describe the characteristic of a cell wall, what kind of the cell wall characteristic? Because the Whitaker has categorized this kingdom in that one of the characteristic is a cell wall. So here you can find there are two cell walls. There are two layers of cell wall arranged like a shell. Okay, they are arranged like a shell. Such kind of a cell wall you can find into a chrysophytes. Okay, so if you see their arrangement, then it is like a soft box. Okay, it's like a soft box. You might have seen the soft box. In a soft box, one that fits into another one. Similarly, here there are two layers or two components, one that fits into another one, and make an arrangement like a soft box. Or such kind of a cell wall you can find into a chrysophytes. Okay, and this, you can say that this cell wall, they are covered or they are filled with silica. They are filled with a silica. So what happens as they are filled with a silica? This silica is a molecule, or this silica is a substance which usually does not degrade, and with the help of silica they becomes a joint. When this chrysophytes it dies, this chrysophytes it dies, even though this silica material it never gets degraded. Okay, it never gets degraded, and they remains as such for a long period of a time, and they leads to a generation of diatomaceous earth. Okay, diatomaceous earth. Okay, diatomaceous earth, it is filled with the silica that remains as such. It remains as such for a long years. Okay, they remains as such for a long years. Okay, and this diatomaceous earth, that means dead bodies with a soil that is never degraded, and they are used in different industries. They are used in the polishing, because if you see this diatomaceous earth, it is gritty in nature. What kind of the nature it is? It is a gritty, and as it is gritty in nature, it can be used in a polishing, and it can also be used in filtration of oil and syrups. They are used in filtration of oils and the syrup. So these are the characteristics of the chrysophytes. These are the characteristics of chrysophytes. I again repeat, what are the characteristics of a chrysophytes? Let's see what are the characteristics. See which are the two examples. The first one is golden algae. The second example is, it's called as a diatom. This is the example. What is the habitat? If you see the habitat, where it can be found, it is aquatic, but it can be found in both marine water as well as fresh water. It is photosynthetic in nature. Usually it's autotrophic, can prepare its food. Its cell wall is arranged in the two layers. Okay, and these cell walls, they are arranged like a shell of a soft box, and this they are connected by the or filled with the silica. As I have told you that this silica is non-degradable, can remain as such for a long period of time. So the mortals of that forms a diatomaceous earth. This diatomaceous earth is a gritty in nature, so it will be used in polishing, and can also be used in filtration of the oil and the syrups. Okay, and here you can find its reproduction. Usually you know that they reproduces by both method, asexual as well as the sexual mode of reproduction you can find in it. Okay, so this is what are the characteristics of the chrysophytes. They are the characteristics of a chrysophytes. I hope so you are clear with the first category, what we call it as chrysophytes. Now we are moving ahead. We are moving ahead with the second category. Let's go for a second category. Okay, and the second category is dinoflagellates. Okay, so here we go for the second category. Okay, second category is dinoflagellates. Okay, if you see these dinoflagellates, they are of different colors. They are of different colors. Okay, so usually the color you can find, they are brown, yellow, red, green, etc. These are the different colors you can find into one of these dinoflagellates. And why they are different colors? Because they possess pigments. They have a presence of a pigments. And due to a presence of pigments, they are of different colors like the brown, yellow, red, green, etc. Okay, clear? So they are considered as a dinoflagellates. Next, one thing is that here if you see that mode of nutrition. What is the mode of nutrition of this dinoflagellate? Here the mode of nutrition is autotrophic, means it is a photosynthetic. Okay, it is a photosynthetic. That means you can say that it is a autotrophic. Can prepare their food by themselves. This is the mode of nutrition you can find in it. If you see its habitat where they can found. Okay, it is aquatic, but in aquatic it is specified that they can be found in the sea. So their habitat is a marine. They do not found in the fresh water. If you see the chrysophytes can be found in both marine water as well as fresh water, but this is found into a marine habitat. Okay, clear? Next, here if you see it's a cell wall. Okay, so cell wall is of a different colors. Okay, and sometimes they remain as such. This has a capacity such that it will go under a rapid multiplication. Okay, they undergo rapid multiplication. Here the rapid multiplication that occurs by an asexual mode of reproduction. So they undergo a rapid multiplication, and due to a rapid multiplication, sometimes you can see the same color you can see in this ocean. Okay, like suppose if it is a red color. Okay, then they undergo a red color, so all the sea look like a red, or all the oceans look like a red, and this kind of a phenomena it's called as red tides. What it can be called as red tides. A red tide formation can occur due to a rapid multiplication of this dinoflagellates. Okay. The main important characteristic of this dinoflagellate, die means a two. They have how many flagella? They have two flagella. As they have a two flagella, okay, which two flagella? I just specified. One flagella is longitudinal. The other flagella is transverse flagella. It has two flagella, longitudinal and the transverse flagella, two flagella. That's why we are calling it as dinoflagellate. Di means two, it has two flagella. That's why we are calling it as dinoflagellates. Okay, and they undergo a rapid multiplication and from the red tides. This red tide, they releases the toxin. They releases the toxin material, and this toxin material can also kill the fishes, the large organisms that you can find into an ocean because they live in the marine. Okay, so red tides that happens due to dinoflagellates, they releases the toxin and that can also kill the fishes. Okay, so such kind of the arrangement you can find in it, and you know that its mode of nutrition is autotrophic or photosynthetic. Okay, and they can be found into water. Okay, so these are the characteristics you can found into a dinoflagellate. One more thing is left regarding the chrysophytes. Okay, you know that the chrysophytes are also autotrophic, photosynthetic, and their numbers are very high. So if you see that in the ocean or in the sea, the diatoms, there are two examples, diatoms and the golden algae. The diatoms is the chief producer in the ocean. You know the meaning of producers. Producers means they prepare their food by themselves. They are called as producers. You might have learned the producers, consumers. Okay, so these in chrysophyte, the diatoms are the chief producers in the ocean. Okay, they are the main producers in the oceans. That you have to remember. Okay, this is a very important point regarding to a diatoms. So these are the characteristics of dinoflagellate. I again repeat, what is a dinoflagellate? Dinoflagellate means it has how many flagella? Two flagella. Okay, clear? One is longitudinal flagella and the second one is transverse flagella. This dinoflagellate can be of different colors like brown, yellow, red, green. And why they are of different colors? Because of presence of pigments. Mode of nutrition is photosynthetic, can prepare their own food, hence we can also call it as autotrophic. They found in the marine water. Okay, that means they found in the sea or the oceans. The cell wall characteristic is the similar like the others, but they can also form the rare types because they can undergo rapid multiplication and the whole oceans look like a red when they grow very fast. Okay, and they releases the toxin which can even kill the large animals like fishes. Okay, and thus they protect themselves. So these are the characteristics of dinoflagellates. So we have finished with this. Okay, chrysophytes and the dinoflagellates. Now we are moving ahead, and that is the third one. That's we can call it as euglenoids. So let's go with the third. That is the euglenoids. So we move ahead with the third category of kingdom Protista. They are the euglenoids. So euglenoid is the third category you can find in the kingdom Protista. If you see this euglenoids, what is their habitat? Where they can be found? Okay, you know that the chrysophytes they can be found in both freshwater, marine water. Dinoflagellates you can find into marine water. And the euglenoids, where they are found, the habitat of there, it is, you can say that it is found into a fresh water. They found into a fresh water. Okay, usually even in the fresh water they can found into a stagnant water. Means a steady water. They are found into a stagnant water or the steady water. Okay, this is the characteristic. Now, if you talk about the cell wall, you can find in this. Okay, instead of a cell wall, they have a protein-rich layer. They have a protein-rich layer. Their cell wall is made up of a protein-rich layer. Okay, what it can be called? This protein-rich layer we are calling it as pellicle. And due to this pellicle, it gives a flexibility. This pellicle, or due to this protein-rich layer pellicle, it gives a flexibility to this organism. What you can call it as euglenoids. Okay. Now, if you go for the mode of nutrition, what mode of nutrition they have? So here the two mode of nutrition: in presence of sunlight, in absence of sunlight. So in presence of sunlight, in presence, I am writing short form. In presence of light and in absence of light. Absence of light. In presence of sunlight, they behave as autotrophic. But in the absence of sunlight, it behaves as heterotrophic. Clear? In presence of sunlight, they behave as autotrophic. In absence of sunlight, they behave as a heterotrophic. Means they get a food in any condition. In presence of sunlight, it behaves as autotrophic. Why it can behave heterotrophic? Because it possesses the pigments. I am writing over here. It possesses the pigments. And here, the pigments you can find over here, they are similar to plants. The pigment like chlorophyll A you can find in a plant. Same type of the pigment you can find into the euglenoids. So in the presence of sunlight, it can behave as autotrophic. In the absence of sunlight, it can behave as a heterotrophic. So this is the mode of nutrition. If you talk about their flagella, okay, the dinoflagellates, they have a two flagella, longitudinal and the transverse. Similarly, this euglenoids also have a two flagellas. How many flagella? Two flagella. Okay, they have a two flagella. Okay, which they are, one is short flagella, the other one is long flagella. Two different kind of the flagella you can find in its structure. Okay, that is called as a one short and the other one is a long flagella you can find in it. Okay, so this is a flagella. If you see its example, so what is the example of this? It is the euglena. Euglena is the most famous example of euglenoids. Okay, so let's repeat what are the characteristics of the euglenoids. Euglenoids, they can found in the fresh water, specifically in the stagnant water, steady water. Okay, if you see a cell wall, instead of a cell wall, they have a protein rich layer called as pellicle, and due to this pellicle, they are flexible in nature, they can move easily. Okay, here the mode of nutrition two type based on the external condition. If sunlight available, then they are autotrophic. If sunlight is absent, then they are heterotrophic. Okay, they have a two flagellas, one short flagella, the other one is long flagella. Okay, they have a pigment, so that's why they can behave as autotrophic. And the pigment present in the euglenoids, they are similar to a higher plants. And the example of that is euglenoid is a euglena. So that is about the third. So we have finished with the third also. That is the euglenoids. Okay, so that is about chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, and the euglenoids. Okay, now we are left with other two, slime mold and the protozoa. Okay, we discuss this slime mold and the protozoa in the next session. Till then, you keep learning what the kingdom Protista. Prepare these three, chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, and the euglenoids. We discuss these two, slime molds and the protozoa in the next session. Okay, so students, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.